Good morning. Oh, spray my rose water. Hi, cat. Hold on. Spraying the rose water. It's my everything. Kyla Dawn to the break of dawn. What the heck? Hi, Mom. You made it. Rose water, you guys, is my absolute favorite. I freaking love it. Hi, Brooke. Hi, Cat. Hi, Love. Hi, Brandy. Anyways, let me spray this so I can get prepared. So it never gets easier. Yes, isn't it the best? I love my rose water. Brooke is so awesome. Hi, Heather. So good to see you. Just getting situated. So if any of you guys that are following or starting right now, we're doing 30 days of IG Live. Today's day 8 for myself. And there's a whole group of us that are doing it. If you look at my posts that I post at 11 a.m., I tag everybody that's doing it. So there's like 16 or 17 of us that are doing these IG Lives. And hi, Kelsey. They're amazing. You can hashtag 30 days of IG Live. They are really, really, really quite amazing what they're doing for all of us. So, yeah, it's amazing. So today, I never know what I'm going to talk about until sometime during the day. My guide tells me what it is. And so today is channeling. And I don't really know exactly what I'm going to be telling you guys, but we'll just go with whatever pops up. So a little bit about channeling for me. So this is all just my personal experience. There are thousands of ways that people will explain channeling and what it means to them and how they do it and blah, 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 right? But for me, it's just talking to spirit, right? Channeling is a fancy spiritual word for communicating, right? It's communication. It's a form of communication. That's it. And I think what's happened as everybody's starting to wake up and really start accessing their gifts and their talents, channeling is one of those natural gifts that we have, right? All of us have this natural ability to channel, which is just communicate with our guides and our spirits and anybody, any masters or anything that is always around us, that wants to communicate with us, that wants us to share messages to people. And there are umpteen ways of accessing that information. Everybody has their own way of doing it. And so I just wanted to come in today and give a little bit of a description of how I access that ability, my channeling. And maybe you can take some tips and then you can try it for yourself and you can just start doing it. I think a lot of people, they are timid, like, oh, I can't channel, right? Oh, I don't know how to channel. Because the word is such a spiritual, like, ooh, you're a channel, you know? And it's the same thing as just being able to feel your higher self or start communicating with your higher self, right? That's channeling. It's just accessing the energetic frequencies that are around you and listening. And like everything else that I've been talking about this past week, it's just learning what it means. It's just getting the skills. It's like you're in kindergarten, right? And you're just learning what the word channeling means. And the teacher's up in front saying, okay, so there's this awesome skill that everybody has, right? It's called channeling. And it's how you communicate with the beings that you can't see. So we can all imagine that we're in a school right now. And it's our, kindergarten, first grade, and we're all learning about this amazing skill that every single being on the planet has. And we're starting to open that skill up a little bit more, right? Opening up our crown chakra more and activating more of that information to come in. And so the teacher's sitting there and she's like, or he's like, whoever it is like, okay, so here's the skill we all have, channeling. And all these beings are around you and they're always wanting to access you, right? So especially as we're ascending and going through this ascension process, we are being spoken to, we are being communicated with all the time. And so the more you have the knowledge of what it means, what it sounds like, what it feels like, how to access it, the more information you're going to have. And it's fun, right? It's super duper fun. So, like I said, everybody has their own way of accessing it and doing it. Some people write, right? So like they'll create a space and they'll start writing. And then all of a sudden it just starts to flow, right? That's channeling, right? Some people will paint, right? And so they start painting. The next thing you know, they've got this amazing painting. They don't know where it came from. That's channeling. Some people will sit, eyes closed, something comes in and they'll just start speaking it out loud. That's channeling. We've all seen those amazing channel people on stage that can just like go in and like the next thing you know they're trans channeling. Hi Deanna, some amazing beings, right? And trans channeling is a whole different subject. Trans channeling is when thank you Heather. Trans channeling is when you actually bring in the spirit, right, into your body and your spirit steps aside. And that's not what we're talking about today. We're just talking about accessing that information. So let me tell you what I do. And I didn't learn it. I just started naturally doing it. So that's the other thing. Whatever naturally feels good to you is what you want to start doing. So you kind of just go with what's being given to you about how to do it, right? Meaning, if your higher self is saying, you should sit on a couch and close your eyes and go in that way, great. If they're like, oh no, go on your bed and just start writing and let it flow, great. Go walk in nature and take a tape recorder, right? Just go to walk around in the woods somewhere by a lake. Being in nature, by the way, opens up and activates your crown chakra and your connectedness to everything so fast. It's like, boop, done, you're there. So sometimes going out into nature with a notepad or a voice record thing where you can just start recording as you're moving through. Channeling is not this thing where it's like, okay, for some people it is, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, I'm gonna go channel now, and then you have all this pressure on you that you're channeling and you have to do something. Throw that out the window. These are natural gifts, okay? Everybody has it. It's just like learning how to speak English or any language that you are, right? It's like learning math, science. It's the same thing. So we're just learning another tool that we all were born with. Some people learned it quicker than others. Some people have the ability to like snap into that faster. Some people don't have kids and a husband or a wife and a full-time job and can just like chill out and figure it all out, right? So we all have different circumstances. Back to what I do. What I do is I create a space around me, and it's the same space every single time. So what I do recommend is that when you do start practicing it, that you do the same thing. So it's around the same time if you can, in the same space, in the same room. Maybe you light the same candles. Maybe do your rose water, right? You have the same picture or the same crystal. So you want to create like a ceremonial space. If you're going to do a hike, the hiking, maybe you go on the same hike around the same time if you can. Again, this is just how I do it. Everyone's different. It is kind of nice to have like when you're starting to practice, when you're starting to learn how to do it, it's nice to have a frame that you're using, right? You're training yourself. So I have my living room and I have my candles and I have my picture of a Dhamma and I have my rose water and I sit and I say the same prayer, right? So I create this ceremonial space. I say the same thing. I create a ceremonial space within and around me, and I bring in whatever color light that I'm feeling in that moment. I ask for anything and everything that doesn't serve me in this moment to be out of this sacred space, in not so many words. I bring in whoever I feel like bringing in that moment. I always bring in my main guide, Adama. And then I sit, and what I do, because I've tried writing, and writing is amazing, but I don't have the patience for it. Some people have the patience for writing. I don't. I get way into my ego, and as I'm writing, I don't have the patience. So so I close my eyes. I ask my guide to come in, and then what I do is I hit a voice record and I just start talking. So I don't wait until I feel anything amazing. I don't wait until I'm like, oh, I'm enlightened. It's time to go. I don't do that. I have my little voice record on my phone, and I just start talking. And whatever comes out, comes out. The other thing it's important to do that I recommend doing, that I did a couple days ago, is before I go in, I ask my ego to sit down next to me. And the reason I always ask my ego to sit down next to me is because the ego likes to get in the way. And if you verbally, out loud, verbally? I don't think you can physically, verbally. If you out loud put your ego to the side, right? Say, ego, please come and sit down next to me during this session, during this moment, during this anything. Then it allows the ego to take a time out. And it actually helps. It actually works. Anyways, hit that voice record, and I just start talking. And I just let it flow. And I think that's the most important part of the channeling work, right? It's not even work, but the channeling is you just let it flow. You let it happen. You don't judge it. And this is with writing. This is with, your ego will get in the way. Your ego, that's why you do this. That's why we're in kindergarten, right? Because we're learning. And the ego has been the most important part of our life. The ego has, sorry, there's people outside taking photos. I have no idea what they're doing. Oh, I think there's a huge eagle outside. Oh, I'm almost positive there is. Because I saw the eagle flying out my window, but I didn't think it was an eagle. And it's definitely an eagle because these two people are stopped and taking photos of it. Anyways, sorry, total side, got distracted. The ego, it's been running our lives. And so it makes sense. You saw the shadow of the eagle? That's crazy. It was huge. I would take you guys outside, but I'm so bad with the camera. Anyways, the ego's been, oh, wow, crazy. Of course you saw it, Deanna. Sorry, guys, back. Ego, totally controlling us, right? Controlling how we do things, and all of that. So part of the practice of these gifts that we have, channeling being one of them, or just communicating, right? I hate these titles. I hate the twin flame thing. I hate all that. But not hate, but it stops people, right? It stops you from exploring because you're like, I'm not a channel. I don't know how to channel. Hi, Marie. It stops people from just doing what they're naturally, innately, God-given gifts to do. Channeling, speaking to spirit, communicating, bringing the messages in. So I always put the ego aside in everything I do. When I work with clients, when I sit down to write, when I communicate with Adama, all of that, right? I put it aside. So that's my suggestions in beginning to learn how to communicate with spirit or whatever wants to come in. So again, making sure that you have this, that you do it around the same time if you can, that you make like a ceremony out of it, right? So if you love to light the candles, you light candles. You have the same ascended master pictures by you. You're sitting in the same chair, doing the rose water if that's what you want to do. So you're kind of making it this routine. step one. Step two is you create, you out loud, you create, speak, that you're creating the ceremonial space for this magic to happen, right? Even if it's that you're walking out into the woods and that this is the time that you're going to give to yourself to start channeling, create the space. If you're, even if you're in your car driving and you want to practice, right? Create the space. I'm creating a ceremonial space around me. And then you bring in, so that's step two, is creating that ceremonial space. And then step three, asking the ego to step aside and sit down next to you and just enjoy the ride. And hi, Casey. And then step four is just to allow. So if there is a being that you would like to communicate with, ask that being to come in. You have to ask, right? So ask that being to come in, and then just start letting it flow. Don't stop whatever's coming through, right? So I know, Luna, mine too. They talk a lot when I'm in the shower. Just let it come through. Let it flow. And don't doubt it, right? And then share it with us. That's the other thing. I have clients that start channeling and really receiving some powerful messages, and then they're nervous, like it's not real, or they didn't really hear what they heard, or they just made it up. Look for the clouds for confirmation. Yeah, we doubt it. And I did the same for a long time. Because I do it out loud through a voice record, I listened back and I doubted, and it was really, really challenging for me when I first started speaking and bringing in messages, because I doubted everything I was hearing myself say. And then not only did I doubt it, but I got really insecure, and then I would go down into these depressions of like, so this might also happen, right? So as you start learning how to channel, when you're channeling beings, depending upon what those beings are, your body begins to vibrate at that level that being is at, okay? So know that as you begin, this is a little bit more advanced stuff, so if you're just learning to channel, don't really worry about this. But if you've been channeling for a while, so your body vibrates at whatever frequency the energy is that you're bringing through, right? And you're in that zone, right? You are in the zone and you're doing it, and your body is in that frequency. When you come out of it, if you're just beginning to learn how to channel, it's very common to kind of swoop down into this depression, right? Of like, you were super high, you got super activated, you heard all these amazing messages, super connected, and then you fall down, right? And you're kind of depressed, or just feeling super insecure, like you're stupid, or you don't know what you're doing, or why are you going down this path, or that's totally normal. That's going to happen. That's going to happen for all of us for a lot of things that we're doing right now, as we're evolving spiritually, right? As we go up, we come back down. So that's the same thing with channeling, is as you start activating your body more and bringing in these beings and this energy, it's basically energy, right? You will go up and down and up and down. And the more you practice, the more you'll be able to stay sort of a little bit more even keeled, right? And the other thing I wanted to say before I go is, it's also when you're practicing in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, whatever grade you're in for the channeling school, that you are learning to raise the vibration of your body to connect, to bring in that energy. So what my guide Dhamma has been saying to me a lot lately is, a lot of what he's doing when I go in is he's literally just allowing me to feel what that energy feels like in my body. So as I'm bringing him in and channeling him, he's really asking me to pay attention to the energy of what that feels like. So Because when you bring in that energy, and all information is energy, right? So depending upon where that energy is coming from and what frequency and vibration that energy is coming from, that's what you're pulling in. And so your body has to be prepared. Your body has to be ready for that energy to come in, which is another reason why you go up and down, right? So Adam has been teaching me to feel this energy. What does it feel like? How is my body feeling? Like really be in control of it instead of just allowing it to happen. And then the next thing I know, I come out of it and I'm like, oh, that was amazing. So if you've been channeling for a while, or even if you're just starting out, also start to focus on what it feels like what does your body feel like as you're bringing in this energy. That's also going to help you to connect with what you're channeling, is feeling that energy within your body. Oh, Kelsey, I know. I think I was on Mount Shasta. I think I was in Mount Shasta when I did that video. Yeah, so I'll practice that too. So when even if you're writing, you're in that flow and you're moving around and your pen's going cuckoo and you're just like, oh my God, this is amazing. What's happening? Blah, 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 all this stuff coming out. Feel what's happening in your body. So being present in your body and feeling the vibration, feeling the activation, feeling the level of frequency that's happening. Because Katie, hi love. So glad you're here. Katie's an amazing channeler. She's amazing. But yeah, I mean, we all are, right? We all are. We just have to start doing it. Hey, love. I was talking about channeling and what that means and how to do it. So I think that's it. I mean, I guess the message I just wanted to really get out to all of you guys is that this is, I love you too, love. This is an innate gift in all of us. It is just part of who we are. And as we begin to ascend and activate ourselves, we are activating those gifts within us, which is channeling. Which, we're humans on the planet, and so it's kind of cute that we have these terms for them, right? I mean, all these other beings are like, well, you're just speaking to spirit. You guys are being so cute about labeling it, and the problem with labeling is that people think they can't do that. Oh my God, that person's doing that, or you read these posts and they're like, oh, I just channeled this information, and you're like, how do I do that? I don't know how to do that. I've never done that. But you do it all the time. And it's not that difficult. It's not that complicated. And there are gifts and messages that are being given to you on a regular basis. So start creating some sort of space around you where you go in and you just start listening to what wants to be said to you. Yeah, Marie, totally. Me too. Sometimes it's so simple. Sometimes when you start doing it, it's like, holy cow, that was so crazy. It just comes out of nowhere. And then you have these messages and you're like, what the hell? It's not hard, right? And then you're doubting it. Like, wait a second, if it was that easy, this can't be what is really being given to me. I made this up. This was all in my head. This sounds like mumbo jumbo, whatever. Well, so crystals, I mean, I would just say intuitively, whatever you feel called to bring in to do your channeling, I always obviously bring in my Lemurians. And of course my Namibian. My Namibian crystal is my number one crystal for everything Lori. It's the most powerful crystal I've ever felt. So just listen intuitively to what crystals want to be with you during this channeling. And it's probably going to be the same ones over and over again. Again, just making that routine, right? It looks double terminated. Oh, the Namibian? Yeah, it's all kinds of crazy stuff in here. Yes, we need to trust ourselves and the messages we get. Such a huge thing, because we doubt ourselves and then we judge, right? So we look at somebody else's channeling and we're like, oh my God, that was so divinely gifted and that was beautiful. And then you look at yours and you're like, this sounds like shit. I'm not going to share this. I've done that many a times. I'm not going to share this. This sounds like crap. And you just practice saying, thank you so much, ego, sharing it anyways, right? Or, you know, thank you so much. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going in. I'm going to keep doing it. Because pretty soon it's going to be so commonplace for us all to just start speaking to whoever's coming through and whoever wants to talk to us. I mean, now is the time more than ever that they want to really communicate with us and help us move through this transition, because it's hard and they've done it. Any being out there that's talking to you, maybe minus the dragons, those kind of beings, but maybe they have too. They probably have. All the beings that are talking to you right now have gone through this. They have ascended in some way, shape, or form on this planet or some other planet. And they are here to help us. So that's why the channeling is so big. That's why everybody is doing it. That's why we are being activated. Our crown chakra is opening up because it's time to bring in those messages. Whatever you're hearing, and trusting it, and don't letting your ego get in the way. Okay. They laid crystals in the earth for us when we woke up. Yes, they did. They did. There are a ton of crystals that have been placed in the middle, not the middle, but in earth, specifically for this time to wake us up. And they hold really powerful information that your heart, your spirit, your soul knows and is activated when it holds that crystal, when it feels that crystal, you know. All right, so I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I can't believe that huge eagle came. Literally, it was huge. Unbelievable. Does anybody have any questions before I say goodbye for the day? I didn't brush my hair today. Yes, so true, Austin. So true. You're everything, Crystal. I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry. I'm so bad at. Do you think song lyrics? Yeah, totally. Song lyrics. What was the crystal called? Namibian. Like the country in Africa, Namibian. 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 Yeah. So Namibian crystal. Yeah. Song lyrics. So many things are channeled. So I do Bikram yoga. The Bikram yoga series created by Bikram, the man, was for sure channeled by spirit, right? So many songs are channeled by spirit. Dance routines are channeled by spirit. So many things are channeled by spirit. If there's any dancers on here, I know Kyla, I don't know if she's still on here, she's a dancer. I mean, that stuff is channeled. You know when you watch somebody on stage and your whole body vibrates? Your whole body goosebumps and you start to cry? That's channeled. That's spirit. That person got out of the way and allowed spirit to come in and channel. And a lot aren't even aware of it. Absolutely. We're not. A lot of people are not aware of it, that it's happening. Yeah, they don't even really recognize it, but your body knows it when you feel it or when you see it or when you hear it. Yes, Lemurian quartz from Brazil are connected to Lemuria, so they are crystals that hold the codes from Lemuria, and they have been placed in the earth for this time. So basically, therefore, communication and activation for ourselves, and not only for that fifth dimensional energy that they are themselves, but also to activate our heart consciousness, our heart center, to activate them to communicate with those beings as well as many other beings. And so if you have a Lemurian crystal, they have these ridged lines on them. I don't know if you can see it, kind of. This is encoded information. Um, they can be from other places as well. Yeah, Austin knows all about the crystals, especially the Lemurians. I think but anyways, yeah. So these they're all encoded with some pretty powerful um, information and activations. They're just amazing crystals, and they're so healing. They're so healing. What else? China, Russia, Africa, California, Brazil. I didn't catch the beginning of your broadcast, but I was wondering what you were doing when you were using the pendulum on your crystal yesterday. Oh, so the way that, and Austin, maybe you'll know what this is better than I did. So I went to a sound healing here in Mount Shasta, and the woman was telling us that crystals like to be placed in a certain position, based on how they grew in the earth, and so you always want to position the crystal the way the crystal wants to be laid, and that's how you're going to get the most sort of activation from them, or vibration or power. And so what you do is you use a pendulum. It's so freaking awesome, you guys. Check this out. You use a pendulum. Actually, it can be a pendulum. It can be anything, really. But a pendulum is awesome. It has a better way of doing it. Okay, so watch. Let me see if I can get my crystal. Okay, so there's my awesome Lemurian, right? Okay, so I'll position it one way, and you hold, I hope you guys can see this. You hold the pendulum over, and what it should do, if it's in the right place, if it's communicating to you and telling you it's in the right place, it'll start moving in circles. So it doesn't like to be here. It's not moving, right? Okay, so I rotate it. And you can do this with any crystal, by the way, obviously. Okay, rotate it and move it. Nothing happens. Move it again. Nothing happens. And move it again. All of a sudden, check that out. I'm not doing that, by the way. I am not doing that at all. What the hell? Isn't that freaking awesome? Yeah. Freaking amazing. When I learned that, I was like, what? He likes that way. Totally, Katie. I was like, they're communicating. So anyways, the way the crystal is grown from the earth is the way it wants to sit, right? So just use a pendulum of some sort and put it above. And you know how pendulum work. You don't move. You don't do anything. It just naturally moves, right, when it's giving you the information. And so the crystal will tell you. So you just jerk, jerk, jerk. And then when you see it go, it's like, jerk, it's in. Anyway, so I've been going around my house doing it to all my crystals, and it's so awesome. Plus, you're just really getting that connection and that ability to communicate with everyone. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna save this one. It'll be on my YouTube. If you guys haven't seen my other Instagram lives, I've saved almost all of them. They're on my YouTube channel at Lori of Lemuria. That's the YouTube channel that that I have. I think Yogi Joe is up next. If you missed Brandy Littles, she did an amazing one. You guys, there's so many of us that are doing these Instagram lives. So take a look at hashtag 30 days of IG live, and you can see all of our live videos. And if you missed any of mine, go to my YouTube channel and check it out. I did Twin Flames, I did your Council of 12, Higher Self. Anyways, we have 22 more days, so who knows what's going to happen. Katie, I'm so glad you were here, love. I've been thinking about you. And my tripod is dying, is falling. So anyways, you guys, love you, Mom. I'm so glad you were here. And you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Who knows what the subject will be, but it'll be fun. Woohoo! Casey, I'm so glad you're here. Today is Magical is also doing the 30 days of IG Live. So, yeah, at last you're here. You found us. Woohoo! All right, loves. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye.